going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the DST show. We are live in my basement for us going over another year of franchise mode updates for Madden 23 and a celebration over the late great legendary head coach and announcer Matt John Madden. Going into most of this, majority of what's going on is additions over to franchise mode updates, even though people are still going to be playing Ultimate Team. So to the extent of people even interested, I welcome you to the stream. If you guys are just coming up and you don't know what's going on in Madden, I'll be welcome to tell you guys what's going on. The new free agency system looks to greatly enhance franchise mode experience. They're an obvious attempt to create storylines in the alternative universe that free agency, there's not much that pushes over to free agency. There's a lot for players, free agency stock, contract value, negotiations. They even have this patented down over on FIFA. Even how much FIFA sucks, the extent of in-depth rolling they have into you training, transfers, how negotiations play a factor in the interest financially, what's going on with the players. They put that into a T. They even have you talking to their manager while you're trying to discuss with the player. They don't go into innate tampering. And it's always these small little details like they do every goddamn year. Like, now this time we're going to get the franchise fans back because we add one thing. It's not even one thing at a time. It's only like a small feature that's already been done into games that are 15 years before. There is an obvious attempt to create storylines in alternative universes and free agency and sports, more specifically NFL delivers. During the first stage of free agency, each team will be able to offer up to 5-player contracts during each Evo period. So you can offer up 5-player contracts, even 5-year contracts. There's contracts like Pat Mahomes that's going over for 10 years, $100 million. No, $1 billion. How come you're not putting up multiple slots over trade value? You know how many draft picks you can make 2 players off like a couple first round or early future picks from a later draft. That's just what you can do over the minimum of stars that you require. I'm just saying. This already not convincing me. This will help assure the few teams can't just come up and sign all the top players in free agency. That's never been an issue. Maybe the issue is me not trying to take advantage of trying to outbid teams in a periodic period where it's literally a bidding war. Literally saw this over on recently over the NBA. The Indiana Pacers issued DeAndre Ayton, forward for the Phoenix Suns, on $139 million contract, and there's usually a periodic time for how long certain teams, the Phoenix Suns, have time to match that, and they had 48 hours. 48 hours to go and get back their star forward for like $166 million. So that's already like dumb. How bidding wars are never like issued when it comes to team interest. The act of gamifying this concept to where the challenge comes for the developers. It sounds like a strong design, but we won't know for sure until we get a chance to play around with it once the retail version is live. What about a more functional game? There'll always be like a more dynamic gameplay style when it obviously looks like we've been reusing the same game models and gameplay since Madden 15. EA added more info along these lines in the first stage of free agency. You'll need to calculate whom you will make an offer, as you won't be able to go after everybody you want. In stage 2, free agency can offer you up to 10 players for each evil period. In stage 3, you can make an unlimited amount of offers for the remaining free agents. So why don't you make it more pivotal cap size? How come there's not team motive? Why don't you improvise over team motive? That should be like a good gimmick to push. Let me try to share this with you guys real quick to see what's going on with how some of these people like Forbes are trying to like squawk 9,000 Madden before their ratings get like a 3 out of 10. Why does the users have less options during the earlier stages of free agency? Why don't we have earlier options around off season, training camp, QB training, gridiron trials, staying in shape, team morale, free agency hype, more media? You can't even select where you're going to be over the Pro Bowl. You can do that in NBA 2K. They copy and paste it every year, but at least it's in depth. You always hear people on 2K doing rebuilds. You can select your own where you want to play for the All-Star game, your own draft class. It took a while for Madden to even do that. I think it was around Madden 17. You can edit and finally share your own draft class, bro. Like season, summer league, summer training, off-season talk, tampering. There should be a punishment on tampering. They should try to add tampering as a feature and see how that benefits you and see how that troubles you, because tampering does happen in sports. This is a simulation, guys. This is not just a video game. It's a sim. They're supposed to be giving you the authentic experience in video game, how it is to actually play in the pro level pro football, and how you experience playing in game and how it is in the off season and off the field. While there is no living in the early stages, they're trying to go over like we're not trying to limit the amount of free agents you're able to sign. So why not you have bidding wars? They had that in like Madden 12. Opportunity going back and forth for players and negotiations is possible in directions if you get feedback to a player. I bet this is going to be quick and like text wordage, bro. Hell, I can even push off the video right now. Give me a second. Because I think putting this in video form would be a lot better. And we'll go over this as we go together as a family.
In addition to the all-new Field Sense gameplay system in Madden 23, new features are coming to franchise this year. Today, we're excited to share the details about free agency, motivations, tags, contracts, scouting, and some of the things we're doing to provide deeper immersion. We focused on these areas specifically to respond to player feedback, with the goal of enhancing the realism, authenticity, and fun within the mode. To emulate the same level of drama and fun that fans experience during the free agency period each offseason, our goal with free agency in Madden 23 is a more competitive and rewarding experience for our players. In Madden 22, free agency signings were based on which team offered the most money to a player. In Madden 23, money remains a factor, but that's not the only factor. All new player motivations and tags add competition and skill to the process. They also drive decision-making beyond just the money offered when negotiating free agent contracts.
So I hope they find a way where it's like in a periodic way. Because obviously not every player is always going to have the same motivation on every season. Some players want to try to get a bigger bag, setting-wise, chemistry reasons, or contend. and sometimes that change periodically. Like some players are not going to have the same motivations in their 20s like they're going to have in their 30s to near 40s. That's going to happen. I hope that plays a factor.
Motivations help determine why a player chooses to sign with a particular team. Let's go deeper here with some real-world examples. Jarvis Landry just took an offer with the New Orleans Saints, and one of his motivations to sign there was going back home to Louisiana, where he grew up and played college ball. We have the same motivation in Madden 23 called close to home. If a player has this motivation and you can satisfy it, it's going to give you a leg up in negotiations. Another example, wide receiver Russell Gage signed with Tampa Bay. He actually got a recruiting call from Tom Brady a few days before he signed with the Bucs. This is another new motivation in Madden 23 where players want to play with franchise quarterbacks. Previously, players like Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, and Rob Gronkowski all signed with the Bucs to play alongside Brady, a legendary franchise quarterback. Our last example is linebacker Von Miller. He's a veteran who wants to win a Super Bowl first and foremost. That's Madden 23's Super Bowl contender motivation. Player motivations are going to better define where players go in free agency. So the decision is about much more than money. Does a player want to be in a big market? Does he need to be at the top of the depth chart in order to sign? Does he fit the offensive or defensive scheme? We even have a no-state income tax motivation for teams in Texas, Florida, and Washington, for example, which is pretty cool. We're also introducing all new player tags that directly impact free agent logic, trade logic, draft logic, and player progression logic. Let's walk through a few examples of player tags. When Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP award in Madden 23, he'll get the award winner tag. This will drive free agency AI and increase the interest of other teams to sign him and drive up his market value. Another player tag is called Day One Starter. A great example is wideout Jamar Chase, who became the Bengals' top target on day one. With this, CPU teams will now utilize pro-ready prospects, moving them above similarly rated players on the depth chart to get them more reps and progress them faster. Player progression logic is improved as a result. One more tag example is veteran linebacker Bobby Wagner, who has the mentor tag. This tag gives an XP bonus to all players at the same position during weekly training. You're incentivized to sign veteran players because they can help develop your younger guys. The new free agency hub is where you place.
Adding more depth. I want to add more immersion, like able to compete in your able to compete with different teams that you're not responsible in the franchise for. And that means trying to scout, trying to watch tape, highlight. Like this is a franchise, but this isn't just strictly a franchise. This is a simulation. So you should be able to like watch other games without trying to always do the tedious control, so you can control all the rest of the players and all the rest of the 31 teams in the league. So you can feel like you're actually like having fun, you're controlling everybody, and you're watching everybody's game, and you're seeing what they can all do.
Offers, compete with other teams, manage free agent signings, view player motivations and tags, and more. You'll see each player's motivations in the upper middle portion of the screen.
How's this 42% trending in the world? This only has 87,000 viewers.
As this overall interest level in your team. Player motivations are displayed in order of importance and can be either a positive, negative, or neutral status. Next, in the upper right-hand corner, we have the Market Watch. This shows the current number of teams that are interested in the player, as well as his offer status.
Okay.
The status can be no offer, in the hunt, or not in the hunt. This provides valuable information as to whether or not you want to continue targeting a player. Below, you can also see his expected market value, which gives you a starting point on what you want to offer for his contract. Another new addition to the free agency system is the introduction of active negotiations. In order to create a sense of pressure, we've added limits to the number of offers you can have out there at any given stage. In stage 1, you have a max of 5 players you can negotiate with, so you need to be thoughtful going after those top-tier free agents. As the stages advance...
So why don't you add in-person, even if it's text, because everybody's trying to add, like, you need voice actors, just add in-person text and their own personality traits. I don't want a real voice of Tom Brady. I don't think a lot of fans want Tom Brady's voice and his in-game model. Like, just try to have negotiations, talks with the manager and see how the player's thinking, instead of just trying to push over a bid all because of a different motive. Because sometimes, like, you have a player like Antonio Brown. Are you sure all because it's his hometown means he wants to play here? Like some guy from the hometown of Cleveland Browns wants to play for the Cleveland Browns. Are you serious?
You'll be able to offer more players. So in stage 2, you'll get up to 10 offers per eval period. And then after that stage, you'll have an unlimited number of negotiations. We also added the Evaluate Offers button at the bottom of the screen, which allows you to place an offer without advancing the week, giving you more opportunities to go back and forth with your free agent targets each week. Finally, at the bottom of the screen is where you can sort through the available players each week, view their player card.
Why don't you just put birds' rights team? Because there's a different limitations in the way you can market a free agent. That's a team free agent, no team free agent, the birds' rights. There's different laws that goes into how a player is supposed to be pushed over to free agency.
Neutral and very player friendly. And
so it took a whole minute for Madden to finally edit your contracts, because sometimes you see viable contracts over for veteran deals, and you can't edit that around later from the season. So you can literally snuff veteran Julio Jones. That's probably going to go for like $1 million for like a year, for like 2 years, and you can't edit that for 3 years, 17 million.
They each come with their own risk and reward. You can still customize your offers as well.
Still contract that
and
is good.
A top community request, new rollover cap, allows you to carry over unused cap space to the next year.
Good.
We've taken the top requests from player feedback to improve franchise scouting for Madden 23. First, we've added more scouts to the pool so you can get information on prospects faster and to optimize your chances in the draft. No matter what your team needs are, you can now find and hire scouts that are experts at evaluating any position. You can also now scout multiple positions at each stage to unlock information on more prospects in less time. In Madden 22, as you scouted a prospect at any given position, attributes and ratings were revealed randomly. For example, if you were scouting for a QB every draft round, you'll also be able to see generational prospects in the draft. These player finds are rare. They come with a high...
So they still have like diamond in the rough type boring shit on their draft. Let's see how they do with their trade logic, because I don't think their drafting system is
and
really
give you
changed.
More offers via the new trade target tags. We've also added the ability to get immediate trade offers without having to advance the week before you hear back from a team. Adjustments to team needs logic ensures that teams are valuing higher rated veteran players, and players with dev traits also have more value. This will impact how CPU teams draft and make trade offers. New CPU draft logic ensures teams are drafting the right players, and with new player tags, we've improved how each team approaches roster development. For example, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who drafted Trevor Lawrence in 2021 as their franchise quarterback, won't be looking to draft another quarterback and instead will focus on a different need. It's now easier to unlock and assign abilities. You can assign more abilities and create more variation for your players. And the most impactful abilities are now gated by higher overall ratings. Scouting UI improvements make it easier to assign scouts and create a cooler look at the mock drafts. In the franchise hub, we added team colors and logos to give your franchise's home base some life and personalization. We've also made the activity feed on the left easier to use, and we've decluttered some of the text and improved our transitions for a smoother experience. We're excited about all the improvements coming to franchise.
So that's all what they have for franchise mode. They seem to adapt in over the trade logic. Free agency is pushing to more limitations, so we don't overuse it and already try to make our super teams. And seems like drafting mechanics and scouting could be still bare bones. But hopefully they prove me wrong. I don't think I'll still be getting Madden, but if you guys, I'll be trying to hear feedback from when the game launches and see how people talk about it. Customization has to be a major thing. I don't hear what's going on with relocation. Relocation does happen in pro football. Customization should be a major input that goes into a lot of fans whenever they talk about franchise mode, about customizing team, mock draft, expansion draft, different marketing, finding advertising. It's franchise, not just rebuild city. Like you're trying to build a legacy. You're not trying to only just build, let's try to see if I can win a Super Bowl this year and that's it. You want people to doesn't EA want people to play their game for more than just a few months? And it's like, we already made the sales, let's get ready for the next one. Like, yeah, that's fucked up. You're making a video game feel like fast food. But that's just besides that. For the people that took time to watch the stream, I'm just trying to make this short to the point. So I got something to put over until like I get my WWE TV 14 thoughts out the way later around Sunday. But for now, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get my dinner.